Right then, so I recently released my Reading 2020 headline prediction video, which has done pretty well, and thanks for everyone that's been watching that. At the end of that, I talked about how who I thought could go and headline the Radio 1 stage. It's a conversation that I always enjoy having, and it's a conversation that I actually had last year as well. I guess I got to think all of them wrong, but it was a fun video to make and it was a fun conversation to have, so I thought we'd come back this year and just try and see who could be headlining the Radio 1 stage in 2020. I've also got a list of other people that I want to play Reading next year that I don't think will headline but will feature quite highly on the lineup, which will be another video because otherwise we'll be here for hours. But let's just go through and look at this list and see who could be where. There's a couple of ways to do it. The thing is with the Radio 1 stage is that it's the biggest indoor stage in the UK, as far as I'm aware. It's like a 20,000 capacity venue, if not more. It's huge. It's actually my favourite stage in the world. It's my favourite venue to watch a band play or an act play. I think that the Radio 1 stage is amazing. Once was the NME stage. This year, obviously, headliners were Dave on the Friday night, being the first rapper to do so, and the first black solo artist to do so. We had Muramasa on the Saturday and Bastille on the Sunday. So, in previous years, we've had like all dance lineups. This year was very much an urban act on the Friday, a dance act on the Saturday, and an indie band on the Sunday. So whether or not that will feature again as the kind of format for that, I don't know. But there are a few artists that are around at the moment that are doing very, very well that could, I think, draw enough of a crowd to headline the Radio 1 stage. And that list starts with Bombay Bicycle Club. Now, Bombay Bicycle Club went away. They released their last album in 2013. I think they went on hiatus in 2015 after touring the album for 2 years. They're like my favourite band. I loved their first album. I didn't really love their acoustic-y album, but I don't really count that as part of it. And then I loved album number 3 and album number 4. I think they're amazing, and I love their newest single. They have headlined the Radio 1 stage before, which is where I'm thinking maybe it won't be them, and they'll play a higher slot on the main stage if they're booked to play the festival at all. I hope they are. But they're kind of in that realm of massive indie band that I think could draw enough of a crowd. I would just love to see them take it to that stage at some point across the weekend. Would be amazing. Bombay Bicycle Club. In the same kind of lane as that, we have Friendly Fires, who I think have had a wonderful comeback. I still haven't listened to their newest album, which is bad of me, but they are an amazing band and super, super important to UK indie and that whole scene. I'm gutted they haven't been booked for the last 2 years to play Reading, especially after releasing a couple of singles and teasing bits and bobs, but alas, it's fine. We've got an album now. I think it's time that they come and play. I think they headlined a lot of the smaller festivals this year, so perhaps they'll come back and do this as a bit of a festival exclusive. Who knows? We'll see. By that point, they might not be relevant. We're talking about next August as well, so who knows? In the same vein as Bombay, as someone that's gone away and come back, and Friendly Fires for that matter, Jack Pinata. Now, Jack Pinata featured on the greatest run of festival runs in history, which was the Friday in 2009, which saw Florence and the Machine, followed by Jack Pinata, followed by Friendly Fires, followed by Jamie T. Wow. It was incredible, and we are so lucky that ever happened. I'd just like to see something along that nature again in the future. But he's back with a new single, Prayer, which I love, and I'm working on a bootleg for it at the moment. Kind of a bit weird, it's quite cool. But I really like Jack Pinata, and I think he could come back, and that second album of his was so monumental. The first one was like the height of indie, and the second album was so much fun. It was so good. I'd love to see him come back and headline the Radio 1 stage. Next on the list is a band that are kind of back. Maybe they're too big to headline the Radio 1 stage, but it's the Raconteurs. They're not big enough to headline the festival, but maybe they're too big for the Radio 1 stage. Perhaps they'll sub-headline on the main stage. I'm not too sure, but I thought I'd put them in there. They're kind of back and around, and it could make sense, especially as it could be like a first announcement kind of thing that R&L put out there. Next on the list, I've added Tame Impala, who I think could co-headline the main stage, but I don't think he's big enough to headline by himself. However, he could headline the tent, and it would be awesome. I feel like as I'm saying this, people are just, the comments are just adding up to people disagreeing with me. But Tame Impala, I think, would be a really cool headliner on the Radio 1 stage, because I think it's a wonderful stage, and I think he would just be brilliant, especially as he's releasing his new album, and I'm gagging for it. Moving on to some kind of urban names, a band that are fresh and just released another new album, and I think are doing wonderful things, and I've already played the Radio 1 stage on a lower slot, is Brockhampton. Brockhampton are a bit of a force to be reckoned with at the moment. They're just destroying the radio and doing a wonderful array of new things. I think they're an incredibly exciting band, group, and I think they've got a fan base that's big enough for them to headline. They're not the whole festival, but they could certainly pack out that tent. They did in 2018? Yeah, 2018. They were amazing in 2018. They were one of my highlights, and I could absolutely see them headlining the stage. But then as I'm saying this, I feel like they should be on the main stage in a much higher slot. It's my opinion. And last on my list is another rapper who everyone was calling for to play this year and do a secret set. And he did get out of prison just in time, but didn't play, was ASAP Rocky, who has played Reading and Leeds before. I thought when he did play, he wasn't the greatest, but I feel like he's such a big name that headlining the Radio 1 stage would be really, really cool for him. Really cool. Can you imagine the atmosphere in that tent? Oh God, it would be amazing. It would be absolutely amazing. So those are the list of people that I've just been looking at, and I've kind of made a note of as I've gone along. But one other way that I like to look at it is who has been playing Alexandra Palace. For whatever reason, Ali Pali, or people that are booked to play Ali Pali in the next kind of year or so, tend to be a good indication of who's going to headline the Radio 1 stage. That's the kind of size that we're looking at. I've got the Alexandra Palace website up here from all future things that are happening. So we just read through some of them and we discuss any bands that are playing that could headline. Playing the 20th of September, the Pixies. Yeah, I could see the Pixies doing like an OG slot. That's happened a couple of times. Faith No More, that happened. They played the R1 stage as the LCD sound system, kind of the OG people. That would be really cool. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Well, I just hope they play Reading, because I love that new record of theirs. It's amazing. Maybe not a headline though. I don't think they're big enough to headline. Rufus the Soul. I really like Rufus the Soul. They're an Aussie group, aren't they? Yeah, an Australian three-piece. That could be a really cool dance act. I don't know how big they are in the UK though. They're massive over here. 26th of October, Hot Chip. Hot Chip headlining would be amazing. I love Hot Chip. I've never seen them live. They headlined Blue Dot this year, so they're in that kind of realms of headlining smaller festivals. So perhaps coming back and headlining a main thing? Yeah, potentially. So we got going to November, AJ Tracy. I think after his performance this year, headlining the Radio 1 stage is definitely within the realms of possible, but I do think that he is probably not going to play next year if he plays such a big slot this year. On the 8th of November, Def Havana, maybe. Are they that big anymore? I don't really know. 13th and the 14th of November, Vampire Weekend. Here's a question for you audience. Are Vampire Weekend big enough to headline the festival? I don't have that answer. It's going to take me a while to work out. Someone who sold out their event on the 15th of November is Loyal Kana, who is amazing and absolutely fits the bill for the perfect Radio 1 headliner. Loyal Kana, yeah, I'll take that, definitely. 16th of November, Fat Freddy's Drop. I don't think that they're very Reading Festival, are they? Mac DeMarco on the 21st of November. I could see him headlining the Radio 1 stage, definitely. I loved his Glastonbury performance this year. I thought it was excellent. D Block Europe. I can't stand them, but a lot of people like them, and they've sold out both nights on the 22nd and the 23rd at Ali Pali, so maybe they'll take that kind of urban slot, maybe. Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls, my little brother would love that. Frank Turner obviously played Reading 11, 12 times, hasn't played in 2-3 years now. Come back and headline the Radio 1 stage, perhaps. December, sold out Embrace. I don't think they would play Reading Festival anymore. On the 7th of December, also sold out Idols. I could absolutely see Idols headline the Radio 1 stage. That would be amazing. Amazing. They're back due to write their third. They're writing their third album at the moment. No, they've recorded their third album and they're writing the fourth. Is that right? Is that what I read the other day? By the way, Joe speaking to the Enemy at the Mercury's was absolutely incredible. Loved it. Yes, idols. I'm calling Loyal Kana an idol so far from the list of people playing Ali Pali. What else have we got? Going into February, Bombay Bicycle Club was on my list earlier. Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my, that would be amazing. Now, Frank did say this year at Reading that next time they play, they will headline. They didn't specifically say the whole festival. Hey man, headlining the Radio 1 stage would be an amazing achievement for Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. I know that I saw on his Instagram the other day, oh, by the way, I hope if this manages to get to Frank Carter in some way, I hope you're well. That car crash looked horrendous. Sending all of the positive vibes to Frank to get better, along with the driver that he was with. But I saw on Dean's Instagram that they're packing up and going to America to record some new music, so perhaps a new album by next year. That would be amazing. And then headline, I'm up for that. I would love that. I would love that, as long as it's not someone really good on the main stage at the same time. Going into February the 21st, the Dropkick Murphys. I think they would headline the pit, wouldn't they? They're not like a headline the Radio 1 stage big, I don't think. Cage the Elephant, I think, are in a similar position. They could come and headline the Festival Republic, but not the Radio 1 stage. The Neighbourhood, California bred band. I like the Neighbourhood. The Neighbourhood were one of the first bands that Lauren and I discovered together when we first started going out. Love them. I think they're amazing. They're not headline worthy though. I don't think anyway. But they could play Reading on a high slot on the main stage. That'd be good. Supergrass. I don't see that being something that would be at Reading. Probably at Glastonbury though. The London Festival of Railway Modelling on the 21st of March. Cool. 27th of March, Sam Fender. I was going to say, I don't think anyone's ever headlined on one album, but Dave headlined on one album, Muramasa headlined on one album, so they could. Sam Fender has got such a following, and he's just booked a tour for like the entirety of the UK, and he's playing arenas, so with his pop, and he didn't play any festivals this year, I could see him coming in and doing big shows for festival season. I'd love to see him headline the Radio 1 stage. I think he's amazing. And the last one, on June the 20th next year, is Machine Head. Do I think Machine Head will headline the Radio 1 stage? No, but they might headline Download. What do you think? Who do you think will headline the Radio 1 stage at next year's festival? R&L 2020. God, this is going to be a fun one to talk about throughout the year. I think there's some exciting prospects. There's people that we don't even know are in the studio making music right now are going to come back in and play. I will probably get all of this wrong. I always do, but it's a fun conversation. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.